Usually I am. So what are we saying? Everybody will say something like that. Conference. Message from it. It's not like that. If there's anybody watching you or not, just record it. I think it's not easy for anybody at all in the country, so it's not like anybody wants to find a way to make ends meet. Doesn't matter. Who's that? So what are we saying? Like, what does the law say about tenancy matter? Okay. What does the law say about tenancy matter? You have every right to reject your tenant, but you must have to obey some certain rules. Okay, according to the laws of tenancy, law of Lagos State, especially in Lagos State. Every state have their own guiding rules. Okay, every state have their own law that guides the affairs of their tenants and landlord. the landlord and tenant operations in their states. So, according to Lagos State, we also have our Lagos State tenancy laws. Okay, it moderates the affairs of landlord and tenants in the state, within the state. So, what is the first step you take when you are desirous of rejecting a tenant? You as a landlord, you are the owner of your property, the premises is yours. But remember that before this tenant gain occupation in your premises, there were some covenants, okay, that both of you reached, which are inculcated in the tenancy agreements or tenancy contracts, depending on how you use it. So you will now have to make sure that the tenancy contracts or agreements, the covenant stated therein, was breached. And one of the covenants is that the tenants should renew their contracts, their rents, as at when due. Okay, if the duration of his tenure runs from October to September, okay, he knows that he should renew his rent at October. So let me tell you how this one works. If I take a space today, let's say 30th of September this year, my rent is supposed to be due as at 29th of September next year. So rents are always due on the anniversary of the main day or the commencement date. You understand? Of the anniversary. So the anniversary is that tomorrow is supposed to make it 1 year. Then my rent is already due today, which is 29th of September. So that means I am to renew my rent on the 30th of September 2027. That is what it means. Okay. So then after September 2027 have passed, I did not renew. Nothing. I did not renew my rent. And then the landlord started calling me, how far are you not going to pay? Your rents have expired, this and that. You pay up. And I refused to cooperate. I just kept quiet. Even though the house belonged to the landlord, but he cannot just come and tell me, okay, because you refuse to pay, get out from my house. No, you can't do that. So the landlord is supposed to, for the due process of law, what are the due process of law? First of all, you must have to serve statutory notices. Okay, there are two types of statutory notices. Number one is notice to quit. Then the second one is the one we call 7 days owner's intention to deliver of possession. Okay, that notice to quit depends on my tenure. It depends on the duration of my tenantment. Okay, so if I'm a yearly tenant, I'm entitled to a 6 months notice to quit. Whereas if I am a quarterly tenant, which is a tenant that renews his or her rent every six months, then I am entitled to a 3 months notice. That is it. Okay, so these are the way it's being guided. For a yearly tenant, you issue them The duration of 6 months notice. Sorry about the noise. So this notice cannot be issued by you as a landlord. It cannot be issued by you as a landlord. You have to pass through a lawyer. It's a lawyer that have the right to issue a notice. Alright. It's a lawyer that have the right to issue a notice. So you have to now call your lawyer. Assuming I am a tenant that pays in three months again, I am entitled to at least 1 month's notice to quit. So they're supposed to give me 1 month. Some tenants pay in 3 months, some tenants pay in 6 months, and some tenants pay in 1 year annually. Alright. So I'm entitled to 1 month notice if I'm a tenant that pays in three months intervals. If I'm a tenant that pays in 6 month intervals, I am entitled to 3 months notice. And then if I'm a tenant that pays in 1 year interval, that is annually, I'm entitled to at least 6 months notice. So after this notice, before you issue the notice, you must have contacted your lawyer. Okay, the first thing first, you will brief your lawyer, and then in a situation whereby you want your lawyer, you have to send what we call a letter of authority to your lawyer. You will send what we call a letter of authority to your lawyer. That is to show that you are authorizing your attorney, him or her, to carry out the process of ejecting or evicting your tenant from your premises. Okay, so you have authorized your lawyer to do this job, so that it wouldn't be that your lawyer was acting so moto, was acting. Good afternoon, sir. We didn't see him today again. Your son. Oh, is that him? How are you? What's your name? Daniel. Okay, you're welcome. So,
You're supposed to be here.
Okay, with him. Mr. Rose.
Come and see you.
It's alright. It's alright.
We're starting today.
Today.
We are late.
It's already late. Why don't you start tomorrow? Does you still want to start tomorrow?
We are taking 3 days.
Yes, it's okay. Like
taking Monday, very important, Wednesday and Friday.
It's okay by us.
And what time the office open?
Our office opens by 8, but you can start by 9. You can start by 9.
Hello, Baba. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Blocks. Okay, hello, the budget one. Hello, the budget. Then, tí màdán yẹn kọ́ ẹ̀sùn lọ́wọ́ tí tó wà lẹ́yìn màdán yẹn kọ́ ẹ̀sùn lọ́wọ́. Ti lọ́yà yẹn, ti pásítọ̀ yẹn. Lórí fútbọ̀ ló wà. Olùtúkọ̀ ló wà. Ìkan náà wà. Àwọn wà ní Ìkẹjà. Tẹ́ bá débẹ̀, tẹ́ bá ti ẹ̀yìn ọ̀dọ̀ wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà ni ọ̀dọ̀ wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ lẹ́ máa gbà wọlé.
I'll get back to you guys.
Lẹ́yìn ilé màmá, lẹ́yìn ibi màdán lẹ́ máa gbà wọlé. Màdán tẹ́tí ń ṣiṣẹ́ ọ̀dọ̀ wúmà Cameroon yẹn lẹ́ máa gbà wọlé. Ok, gbóná fẹ́. Sáàgbó náà fẹ́. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ kí n wúlẹ̀ wá sí.
What's the name? Okay, Daniel.
Ṣé ẹ máa fáà tó ń tarin tẹ́ ẹ bá ń bọ̀ láti Màtọ́gun. lókè ok ẹ mọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ màá send out number fine ṣe é kí n pa fine màá pè é fine ṣe kọ́ màá pè é fine sí. They said this what the lawyer said now said that Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And I'm looking at the time. They said you can only go at 5.
Yes, that's 5 p.m.
Looking at what's coming from
but you can leave by 4.
By 4. Leave by 4. And
9 to 4.
9 to 4. What's every 2? How many months are you spending?
3 months. Okay, no problem. It's alright. So when you come, you just sit down there. Okay? Yes. Alright. Don't worry, the day is almost over. You can start tomorrow.
Okay, start.
Yes.
Okay.
Abi, you start on Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday. It's alright. No problem. You're welcome, sir. Okay, bye. Daniel, see you on Wednesday.
We'll stay here. When you come and pick him.
When you're going. Okay, no problem. Just sit down there at the reception. You're welcome. I'm sorry for the interruption, guys. So it was a client. Then after you must have written to your lawyer. Where was I? You will authorize your lawyer to carry out the services for you. So when your lawyer have gotten your authority letter, he or she can now swing into action. One, what is the first action? He will now issue the notice to quit. So if he had issued a 6 months notice to quit, so let me still make it very simplified so that we can understand it better. There are ways you will issue a notice and they become defective. So when they become defective, it means you can rely on them in the courts. You know, the essence of everything you're issuing, the statutory notice forms the part of the evidence you're going to be relying on when you now start prosecuting the matter in the courtroom. Because some tenants are stubborn, so even when you have issued them notice to quit, it doesn't just end there. They will still remain in possession. They will still remain in the premises. So you have to take further steps. So what are the further steps you take? So after you have issued notice to quit, 6 months notice to quit, should we talk about the ingredients of notice to quit? Okay, the ingredients of notice to quit, you just have to have a specified date. Okay, your date. Sir? The dates are very important. I'm coming. Oh my god, sorry guys, sorry, I was caught up in the office duties. So let me come back to the live. As I was saying, after you have instructed your lawyer, okay, by way of letter of authority, then they will now draft the notice to quit and serve on the tenants. So like I was saying, I said if they date my I was speaking on the ingredients of notice to quit. If my notice to quit is dated 1st of September, the whole of September will no longer be calculated. Okay, it will no longer be calculated as a full month. The whole of September is gone. So, in order not to fall victim of that, because it can be challenged in court, the other party can challenge you and say, that you gave an incomplete notice. Okay, so it's defective. Incomplete in the sense that the September that you dated your notice, you also calculated it as part of the 6 months. So it's no longer up to 6 months because you have lived a day inside September. So if I'm to date a notice to quit on the first day of September, the whole of September will no longer be calculated as 1 month. So that means my 1 month will begin to count from October, November, December, January, February, March of next year. That is 6 months. Because some mistake that some lawyers do, they will now calculate that September as 1 month, and then that's September, October, November, December, January, February, and say that their 6 months has terminated in February, which is wrong. Okay. So the whole of that September is gone. You will start the next month. You will begin to calculate your 6 months from the next month. Okay. So after the notice has been issued, and then the tenants continue to live in the premises until the expiration of the 6 months. They now issue the second statutory notice, which is the 7 days notice of owner's intention to recover premises or recover possession. Do you get? So that one is usually a 7 days notice, just the same way that a notice of quit comes in 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, depending. So this one will just be a 7 days notice. So it is after this 7 days notice that you can now say, okay, since you have refused to leave the premises, we are taking you to court now to recover possession. Do you get? So what is the appropriate court where you can take tenancy matter to? The appropriate court with the jurisdiction is usually magistrate courts. That is because rent, as we know, cannot pass the jurisdiction of magistrate courts. But then again, there are some instances where a tenant's rent can pass the jurisdiction of magistrate courts. What do I mean by jurisdiction of magistrate court? There is something we call monetary jurisdiction. Okay, this monetary jurisdiction is the certain amount of money, okay, that involves a claim that a magistrate court cannot sit upon. So if you have any claim that has exceeded 20 million, a magistrate court 10 million, 10 million, I'm sorry, it has exceeded 10 million, a magistrate court lacks jurisdiction, okay, to sit on that matter. So the monetary jurisdiction of magistrate court is 10 million. So if I say that somebody is owing me 8 million, owing me 5 million, owing me 9 million, or owing me 10 million, I can still take the person to magistrate court. But when the person starts owing me like 11 million or 12 million and above, you understand, once it has passed 10 million, I can no longer take that person to magistrate court. What do I mean? If your tenant is paying like 5 million naira every year, paying 10 million naira every year, you can take them to magistrate court to recover possession. You know, when we call you recover possession in the sense you want to evict the tenant and take possession of your property again. So we call it a recovery of premises. Do you get? So you can take this tenant to magistrate courts and recover possession. But in a situation where the tenant is paying like 15 million, maybe he stays in somewhere like hybrid areas like Lekki or Iko area, they pay rent of 20 million, 40 million per annum, then it's no longer a magistrate court something.
Give me one or two books. I just give people that are not well.
Okay.
Okay. Then I have a lot of people learning, but I don't know. Those are very good learning. Maybe I took them, I will check. About 3 of them. They're also good for them.
Okay.
It's also good for even the family too. They're like, they can read them like novel.
Okay.
They learn a lot from me. I've given him more than 10. I will see if
it's at home.
Yeah, I told her, I'll bring them.
All right, sir. So when your client is paying anything less than 10 million, you can take them to magistrate court. But if it's above that, go to high court. That is the court with the appropriate jurisdiction to handle the matter. Okay, so that's on another level. So after the expiration of the 7 days, let me also advise you, when you are drafting your 7 days notice of owner's intention to recover premises, don't just give a straight 7 days. Okay, it's better that you give more than 7 days for it not to be up to 7 days. If there is a public holiday within that 7 days, you cannot calculate it as part of the 7 days. Okay, you cannot even calculate Saturday, Sunday. So the best thing to do, what I normally do as a lawyer, I will just give more than 7 days, maybe like 10 days or 14 days, but you're not going to call it 14 days, you're not going to call it 10 days. You will still call it 7 days notice of owner's intention to recover premises. All right. In the eyes of the law, it is better that it is too much than for it not to be up to. Okay, it's better you give excessive notice than for you to give this under notice, like you didn't give up to the required minimum required. So it's better you give in excess than to give below. Do you get? If you are to issue 6 months, it's either you even issue 7 months and still call it 6 months notice than for you to issue 4 months or 5 months and call it 6 months. So when you're issuing 7 days, it's better you issue 14 days and still call it 7 days than for you not to issue up to 7 days. That's on the practical aspect of it though. So after you have issued and served your 7 days on the tenant, the next thing you have to do is you will file your writ of possession. You call it writ of possession. So it's going to come with claims. What are your claims? What are you claiming? You're claiming possession. You will put down your grounds for the possession. Now let me say something about service. Okay, when you are doing your statutory notices, you are not bound by any law to use a court sheriff. All right, you don't have to use a court sheriff, like a court sheriff will now go and serve the client. No, you can serve it from your chambers. You can use your secretary, your assistant, you can use the courier, you can use the HL. You just have a proof of service. So in a situation where you get to the premises and you could not meet the tenants, okay, you can paste it on the door of his last known address. You paste it there, you snap it. The only thing that will not happen is that when you are going to be relying on that document, you will certify the condition of the evidence and to show that the particular picture you take was from a sound electronic device, that is your phone. Okay. So that is on another side of it. So we are now going into the main claim of possession. All right. So you will draft your claim, you will make your tenant, your client who is the landlord of the premises, he will become the claimant, and then the tenant in question will become defendant. All right. So let me expand. Sir, are you true? Okay. All right. Let me go and print a job I just did for a client. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Yes, the first step, right? So guys, I'm sorry, I'm so busy at the moment. I think I have to come back later so that we can continue with the live. Then I know I stopped at okay, I mean the claim of possession, right? The REITs. Yes, so I will discuss further about it when I come back next time. For now, thank you people, thank you guys, thank you for listening, thank you for paying attention, and I really appreciate all your time. Don't worry, I was caught in between because I'm still at the office, so I'm still at work. I'm actually working, just that I'm doing this with you guys, but it's alright. I will have a good time to myself to explain and elaborate on this. So for now, let's call it a day. Bye.